Hello, it's Sandy Mack again here. It's been a long time, I think about a year and a half, but I've brought my update forward in response to, I believe, VK's video with reference to his To the Strongest Army. I've recently been sorting through my old DBA 15mm armies with the thought of putting it into a To the Strongest force. So dusting off my DBA armies, I've managed to start looking at it with a view to doing To the Strongest. To the Strongest is a rule set by Simon Miller, which is with reference to, as it says, fast-moving ancient and medieval war games. Now, I was going to do it with a tripod and a bit more slick, but obviously time has escaped me, so I'm just doing it on my phone. So apologies for the if it does mean feel seasick. Now, it hasn't been hit by a shell blast. This pipe unit is just me sorting through what I've got and trying to keep everything together. I've got a whole box load. This is what I'm actually sorting through, so it's criminal, isn't it, how we sometimes treat our lead piles, but that's it. So yeah, I'm just putting forward together. It's going to probably be a sort of morphing Greek armies, because I've got a bit of everything. I've got some Gauls here, which I believe are minifigs, quite a lot of old minifigs, which should actually go reasonably well with the more modern figures, because they are actually quite big, the old minifigs figures. You've got some Greeks there, and pikemen, which are Essex. They're the Macedonian type pikemen. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on at the moment. I think I have got also some more, maybe a couple more elephants, and I can always obviously just buy a few units. Where there are Romans and there are all manner of other things in there, some painted, some not, which I'll be able to hopefully touch up and get into some To the Strongest units. I have been working on other stuff. Obviously, this is the Bavarian Corsair, it's the back of it, which I've been working on. My Bavarians, these are warrior miniatures, but a little story around it. I started off wanting just to do Words division, which is at Wagram, and so that basically my scale's 1 to 50. I use Phil Barker's horse and musket rules from the for the horse and musket war games research group rules from back in the 80s, but obviously, you start painting, and I did actually become quite fond of them. So I'm going to do the whole core now, about 1 to 50, approximately 1 to 40, 1 to 50 scale. So I'm kind of slowly working through it. Now, I did actually also buy some. I was going to do 2 divisions in uniform, and then a division in the trench coats. Sorry about the shaky camera, but as it happens, I actually quite like them all in uniform. So I'm going to keep a division in trench coats, which could also probably pass for some of the other German allies to Napoleon. I'm thinking Württemberg's, Baden certainly, in the trench coats, and perhaps the Württemberg as well. I might be wrong in that, but I'm pretty certain a lot of them actually use the helmets in a very similar way as what the Bavarians had. So, and certainly the cavalry, I know for a fact, were a similar setup in some of the other forces as well. So, so I've been working on a few extra groups. So obviously there are more on the way. These actually guns here, Limbers, are American Civil War 15mm from Warrior, but they were such good value. I thought I'd use them, and I do see that very similar Limbers were actually used by the Bavarians, coincidentally. So I thought I'll do that. So that's all work in progress. Guns as well. I've got probably about another division to do. Well, another division in uniform to do, and finish off one of the second divisions. I will do a feature a bit more once they're all done, because as I said, I've also bought some more recently what are they called? Name escapes me now, but very well known 15mm brand. What are they called? They do fighting 15s, and they also do Old Glory 15mm French. So I'm doing another. They come in packs of about 50, so they're just the Fusiliers of the line. So I'm doing them. There's some dragoons there, Bavarian dragoons, which I'm doing. I was also working on Austrians, but I've actually bought some Austrians, which I'll feature in the future, hopefully. So there's a story behind that, and I'll tell you about that in the future. So work has been going on, and I said I'll do a better features on each of the projects I've been doing in a bit more time, and hopefully with a bit better standard. But just to finally update, just to show you the rules that I've been talking about. So two of the strongest I've mentioned. It's a great rule set. I won't do a feature on it now because I'm sure someone else would do it better, but it's a great little rule set from a great outfit, Simon Miller. Great website, great support, and there's lots of free army lists that you can download. So it's a real quite well supported rule system, and I've played it a couple of games with it now, and it's been really fun. So some people were put off, I understand, from the grid markings, but you can really make them so subtle that you just don't notice it when you're playing, and I really emphasise that don't be put off because it's in a grid. It really is a good rule set, and you can make the markings so minor that you really don't need to emphasise it much at all. Okay, so let's do the strongest. But this is the Phil Barker games. These have been reprinted quite recently. A lot of the old rule sets have been reprinted on the World Games Research Group website. These were around for a long time, and a lot of people will wince when they see them because a lot of wargaming pain and rule junkies and rule problems in interpreting the rules. But I actually quite like them, and when you're playing solo, the you go, I go, and the way that the system works is quite straightforward. So one interesting thing they don't have is they don't have the sort of reaction. You fire, and if you get a hit, then that's it. The casualties are deducted. There's no saving throws or anything like that. So it's a rule set I quite like. Anyway, so that's that. I've also recently picked up Age of Eagles because that's got a sort of quite another good grand scale army level games, and because I build 1 to 40, 1 to 50, I can morph them probably quite easily into an Age of Eagles type game as well, so without having to rebase or anything. So that's Age of Eagles. They're the ones after the American Civil War game. Name escapes me now, but I've got that as well. But very good rule set for American Civil War. Yeah, so that's about it, guys. So it's lovely to be back. Just say you may remember we had lots of work's been going on here, so it's all been done and finished, and it's all a bit of a mess at the moment. So we've got to tidy up, but before we go to work. But yeah, so it's all finished, and say it's good to be back. And I've got quite a lot in the pipeline. A few of my outdoor exploratory of old buildings and things coming up as well. So I've just got to have time to develop the film. So yeah, looking forward to more great wargaming times. Andy Mack out.